Welcome back to Friday Night League and Week 9 of the LCS. Each team has only 2 games to move up in the standings and solidify their spot heading into the postseason, and tonight the stakes are high. Game 1 is a must-win for both teams as Cloud9 battles for the playoff bye and Dignitas fight for their playoff lives. And our second game features 2 of the hottest teams in the LCS facing off, with TSM taking on Golden Guardians. Now let's dive into that match first, starting with Riv and Kobe, who will bring you the cast.
Thank you, the Tigress. It is true. Expectations for this match are that it's going to be a barn burner, as usual. We should see a good game here. With both teams coming in hot off win streaks, Kobe, I think we're going to get a good game delivered here.
Yeah, the analyst that showed the second half of the split performance, TSM and Golden Guardians are 2 of the best performing teams. TSM coming in on a 4-game win streak, Golden Guardians coming in on a 3-game win streak, and both of them took down Cloud9 last week.
Absolutely, and you can't forget about some top performers, and actually in the top lane, it's going to be Broken Blade and Haunter, including a little bit of Kennen in there, the Aurelia, so I'm loving the gameplay.
What better lane to highlight than the lane with the ex-TSM member playing against his old team, Riv? Broken Blade, like you said, had an amazing Aurelia game, one of the champions that he is known for. And he absolutely took over the game for TSM. It was instrumental in their victory. He had been getting some criticism previously in the season. Meanwhile, for Golden Guardians, Haunter has been popping off. Everyone talking about his Kennen game. That was absolutely huge in their team fights, but also he plays a lot of tanks for the team. Haunter does pretty much whatever Golden Guardians need. Frontline, split push, team fight, whatever is going to go down. And you can see very consistent in his numbers as well. Damage output, CS numbers. Meanwhile, Broken Blade has had some ups and some downs throughout the split, but right now definitely seems to be peaking coming off that Aurelia game.
It's like one side for Haunter coming in there, finding a little bit more throughout the laning phase and then into fighting phase. And then for Broken Blade, I mean, a lot of the power is in the mid lane, is in the bot lane. So get through laning phase and then pile together with that top caliber team to get through the rest of the game. It's how we've been seeing TSM get their wins, and we just saw how Golden Guardians was doing it before. So that's what we're excited about heading into that matchup. Back to the desk.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your insights. But I think there's still more that we need to cover on that matchup because TSM, they're in control of a first-round bye, and Golden Guardians are on pace to enter the playoffs with a winning record the first time for the organization, mind you.
Yeah, I'm really excited for them because I've always given them a lot of crap for, not having a winning record or not having a best-of-5 win in playoffs. But I really think that they'll be able to do both those this split off the back, especially of FBI, who has been such a stud for them in the bot lane. He's really elevated this team and brought them over to the next level to push into this winning organization. And he is so good in the early game. He's so good at team fighting. He really is, I think, one of the biggest linchpins for this organization because he gives you a strong early game in the bot lane and a great team fighter.
I mean, he's been great, but I also think Doublelift is deserving of some credit, as an opponent here. I do feel like Doublelift is getting less credit than usual because he's coming off of, more of a poor split with TL. Having moved over to TSM, though, he's actually been looking really good. I think his laning has been strong, his team fighting has been good, and he's had to do it with multiple different supports, right? And we all know, especially laning stats are so heavily influenced by the person that you are laning with. The fact that he had to swap from Biofos to Treats, I think does make it more difficult, and that he is still consistent is really impressive.
Yeah, talking about laning supports who don't get much attention, no one ever talks about Huhi. GGS bot lane is doing so well. We talk about FBI all the time, but this is his Morgana game against Cloud9. He trades his flash for Sven's flash at level 3, and at level 6, he just walks into Cloud9's bot lane and also gets Vulcan's flash. So normally you see Morgana is just sitting in bushes throwing Qs. Like, Huhi's actually playing really, really aggressively, and this gives so much room for FBI to gather all these stats. Like CSD at 10, yeah, give me that. XP at 15, yeah, give me that. But so much of it is Huhi helping him out. He's a good range support, and he's a really good melee support as well.
Yes, nobody else was talking about him because you had him covered here today, Prawley. I mean, he's been showing out, and you're showing out for him here. But all of these teams, both the ones we're talking about, they did manage to defeat Cloud9 last week, which brings that much more hype to this matchup in particular. So let's go ahead and take a listen into how TSM was able to claim victory over your spring champions in this week's edition of Mic Check.
Huge
huge.
That Aurelia pick was pretty huge, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got it now. Okay. I'm loving it. Same time. Right? Yeah, no, I think, look at that. Come on. Look at that. I think they're good. Look at Aurelia. Yeah, total. Nice.
They didn't get whipped, by the way. They didn't get whipped.
Okay. We're looking mid. Yeah, he did.
Kill him. Nice. Hit.
I think they're good.
I think I base and but I'm so fat.
Go. Bye. As you guys TP the match. Just good. I can match it as well.
Okay.
We need to start mess on someone.
I can go mid.
Okay, we need to walk up.
Okay.
They got it. Look at that, really? Take us in.
Yeah, looking.
Look at that, I have in the flash.
Look at Aurelia.
We just go cannon. He's no flash.
Yep. I can look here. Look at me.
Cannon. Yeah.
I got a big one.
Good fight. It's good fight. Okay.
Yeah.
I can ult you the chase by stall.
Yep.
Volley.
Yes,
I'm holding in after. Keep chasing.
Yeah.
We're looking.
Keep
Keeping on the tower.
on me. I need help.
I cannot hit. I can now.
Oh, he's not.
Got it.
We're fine. Fight Blaber. Close to target.
Look at me.
Yeah. Yep. Huge. Signing cannon. Cannon's free target.
I kill volley.
I'm TPing on mid. Go.
I think they're TPing. They're TPing.
Yeah.
It's here.
Go cannon. I'm TPing. Yeah, we win.
Yeah.
I'm with TP. Okay.
I just 1 HP.
Yeah, we win. Go.
Come on.
Come on, cannon. Ashe.
Kill volley. Okay.
Huge.
It's huge.
Huge.
Absolutely huge.
So
Huge game.
And according to some, a huge fall from grace for our spring champions, who started the split strong, but are now at risk of losing their first round bye after a string of losses in the second half.
Yeah, and people have been trying to diagnose what the cause is, and I gotta say, I think their early game is still pretty strong. This is their actual goal differences in the second round robin. You see at 10 and 15, it's going up all the way up to around 1.5k at 15. That's a great gold lead on average. But the big thing I want to highlight is actually the differentials or the change in gold in certain windows. From 10 to 15, it's still good like we saw, but from 15 to 20 and 20 to 25 in the second round robin, that's how much gold is changing. It's actually going in the opponent's favor, whereas in the first round robin, they were blowing teams out during that phase. A 4,000 gold swing through 20 to 25 versus negative 300. And they've really struggled in team fights when you watch them play. They're not flanking quite the same way. They're not being able to win skirmishes the same way. And I think that's the biggest fall for them. It's not really Blaber's early game. It's not really like laning particular. It's how they're executing as units.
I mean, I think a lot of that does come from the mid jungle, though. Like, the shift in priority for them has been so different. Before, we used to see C9 playing aggressive mid and jungles, and yeah, again, I don't mean just laning phases, but in the way they fight. Nisqy used to play TF Galio. That means he's starting the fight, and then Blaber playing the Olaf and Lee Sin, he's the one cleaning up the fight. But now we have this kind of reversal in how they're fighting, where Nisqy is the one who's actually backline on Azir, poking people, like throwing balls with Syndra, and then, we have Blaber going in on things like Trundle that are kind of lower damage and they can't really carry it. So I think they kind of forgot how to win or how they got their advantages in the first half after they're doing experimenting. So I really hope they kind of return to this like formulatic win style that they had at the beginning of the split.
I mean, for me, I think, coming into this last weekend, they don't have the most difficult strength of schedule. So really nothing except like absolute dominance will start to rebuild confidence, right? They're 2-5 in the back half. If they can at least 2-0 this weekend, you can start to think, okay, they've solved some of their problems. They're trending in the right direction, and then they'll have time to prepare for a specific opponent, where I do think the flexibility that they've shown in draft, earlier in the year, will be very, very effective. But I mean, if you're struggling in these games, or if you lose these games, I think it's abandoned ship on Cloud9 stock. I'm out of there.
And all eyes are on Cloud9 to see if they can pick up the pieces and gain some momentum going into the postseason. And for now, it's time for them to kick it with our first game of Friday Night League. Let's get to the casters to get it started.
All right, everybody, we're about to get into the games for Friday Night League. I'm Riv. Kobe, let's get into some games. I'm not going to do that.
Let's do it. Can Cloud9 put a stop to their losing streak? I never thought I was going to say that this year, but they are indeed on a 3-game losing streak. And if you're looking at this from the standings point of view, you've got to draw the line at losing to Dignitas. That would be the complete collapse for Cloud9 because they are currently tied with TSM for the 2nd place spot. And top 2 is incredibly important with our new playoff system where the top 2 teams going into playoffs get playoff buys.
Yep, and we're going to see how that kind of pans out in our first 2 games here tonight. Dig C9 and then TSM versus Golden Guardians. Both teams obviously firing for that win as we get into bans. And we see the jungle being prioritized right off the bat here for both sides as they get to that 1-2-3.
Yeah, no surprise here. Nisqy and Blaber for Cloud9. Despite the slide that they have had in the second half of the split, they are still #1 and #2 in the entire league for kills and assists at 15. Early game focus, still the name of the game for Cloud9, has been their biggest success point. So Olaf has been pretty much permanently banned versus Blaber versus Cloud9 in the second half since teams finally started to try and deny that. The other thing we are going to be looking at pretty heavily is the mid lane matchup. And, you know, Fenix is here, obviously very well known for, and we're going to try and see what Nisqy can actually play into that. If they end up letting that one over, I have been hearing rumors of Akali players, Akali into Azir coming back to prominence.
Okay.
But those types of plays are kind of what you expect for snowballing, something with kill pressure. Regardless, they could go outside of that box, but not going to see it super early. Just lock in the Ashe for Johnsun. Been one of the consistent plays around here. That does leave up to Caitlyn, obviously, for Cloud9 if they choose to have Zven and Vulcan on the siege lane.
Very true. We might see some flex here for some first picks. So Cloud9 kind of throws Dignitas for a loop. We see Dig with that Ashe, may get some initiation onto aphromoo then, who's been really showing up for the team and also gives safety to the mark.
Oh, baby.
Nidalee
Blaber, Nidalee.
Blaber. You're talking a little bit about aggression, and I think it's something about Blaber where he has to be playing aggressive to feel comfortable, and that's an awesome attribute.
Let me still tell you, though, Nidalee only has 1 win in the LCS out of all of the plays, and that win was from contracts. It was not from Blaber. So we shall see this time around. They're actually going to go the Senna route for the bottom lane. Could easily be a farming Senna or the support Senna. You can leave that one open. Generally, though, more teams have been going towards the farming Senna these days. And Zven also has played a very good Senna in the past. I'm just super curious, though, when you draft early Nidalee, then you're going to want pushing lanes to work with. Things like Renekton for the top side for Licorice, something like we were mentioning as far as kill pressure in lane for the mid lane. I like the yoink away here from Dig. They steal away the Renekton, cut off that possible synergy.
Already building that heal comp out. That'll be good to poke around objectives. For damage on the side of C9. You were talking about what may be needed in the lanes, and Dig gives themselves an aggressive top with Renekton. And now they're deciding. Do they blind pick mid? Did they just get a support here and flex? Possibly. We've seen Karma banned quite a bit because of the versatility. Locked in by Dignitas here, 3rd pick.
Yeah, all right. So Karma definitely is still flexible. Could still be mid laner. Doesn't really give much away for the team comp overall. I'm looking at Cloud9's next pick for Licorice. One of the premier picks into Renekton has been Gangplank. Talking to a lot of the top laners, really liking it early. What you do is you try and use your Trial by Fire, trade earlier with Renekton, level 1, straight up, keep him off the minion wave to try and deny him the possibility of building up that rage. And actually has a very good lane to then try and scale up and obviously have cross-map pressure while denying some of the possibilities of those very scary Renekton all-ins.
Would you see Camille versus Renekton much?
Generally, Camille's going to have a difficult time versus Renekton, though we have seen it quite a few times, and they've lost. I've seen a couple of losses in Academy, and I was like, what's our chances? That's not really supposed to happen. Obviously, the Camille would then be forced to go Grasp, as most of the top laners have been doing on her now for the better lane. But in my opinion, Renekton should still have the advantage in that lane.
Super early.
I've watched a lot of Camille One Trick in EU West videos on it, and it's pretty one-sided. Here comes
Still
the
a
mid lane
struggle.
fans, though. There's your Fenix Azir off the table.
Slow going here for our second phase of bans for our first game. 13 seconds here for Cloud9 as they're figuring what would hit most. Do we still go for Fenix, considering that Karma won't be there? They already did the Azir. Might be able to take out an Orianna if they really want to hit him once again. And they don't have a support. It's going to be Karthus actually banned down.
Yeah, Karthus still strong. We haven't gotten to 10-16 in the LCS set. We're still on 10-15 here. So the extra little nerfs bringing him back down to earth have not arrived. He's a very powerful jungler as well as possible solo laner. So double kind of ban there for some of the late game AP damage. Cloud9 are banning out some of the possible outscale champions here. Meanwhile, Dig, like the Galio ban here, that has been one of Cloud9's most successful champions for Nisqy, which is what they're saving their counter pick for.
TF is up still for a bit of global pressure. Use some AP on the side of Dig. I don't know if they'll be able to get into fights too easily other than an arrow right now. So looking for a bit of initiation. There's the Gangplank you were talking about. Kobe locked in for Licorice here, so it'll be a trial by fire in the top lane.
Yeah, I was talking pretty extensively about the matchup with a couple of the top laners. They really like the super aggressive, actually, Gangplank early into Renekton. And then obviously you have to take a back seat once Renekton gets the extra levels or slice of dice. But for the Dignitas side, they probably want to round out a teamfight composition here. They've already got the Ashe and Karma pretty solid for engage methods with the Ashe arrow. That allows Renekton an easier way to fight later on. He doesn't have to just be a split pusher. If you have an Ashe arrow, something to help him set up, then it goes a long way. And yep, here we go. We get the Lillia in the LCS, baby.
I like it. We saw it in the Academy just this week. We'll see it now in the LCS as Dignitas locks in Lillia. Orianna could be locked in the other side. 9 seconds here for Cloud9. And she has so... we were watching the fights, and you see her play, and you don't know what she's going to do. You think you can kind of zero her out, but she makes it out with HP, and also that the Swirl Seed is so annoying to be able to start fights around objectives or just zone around objectives real quick. You throw it out and let it roll.
She has a pretty quick clear speed as well. If you're doing the camps correctly, you try and kite back, you get your sweet spot on all of your Qs. You can kite very effectively with her because of the extra speed you get off your passive from your Q. And her clear speed is very quick. I think that's why it's being picked into Nidalee here. It's very difficult for Nidalee, obviously, to land a spear onto Lillia with all the extra move speed that she can get from landing spells onto things. So I'm very curious to see how it actually plays out for Dardoch. Personally, I have seen a lot of success invading Lillia's and trying to find her on a camp, because that gives you the initiative. It gives you the first step setup, and then it's more difficult for the Lillia to make use of her kiting and get away from you.
Have you been able to try your hand or wanted to?
To play the champion, I've tested a couple games. It's not my cup of tea. I'm more on the board of killing Lillia, but she obviously has really good synergies, just like Zoe does, with champions that have damage over time, because the damage over time does not break your sleep, so you can kind of roast them alive with things like Rumble Ultimates when they're asleep.
Right.
It's exact same thing as Zoe's sleep.
The lilting lullaby coming in from Lillia. She does a lot of things I think people aren't expecting yet, or a cooldown to be up just yet, so can throw you for a loop in a fight. We saw that happening in previous play. I'm excited to see what happens as Dig brings this out to kind of mess with C9.
Yeah, you definitely have to build her more for items with utility as well. Flat penetration. You want a Leandries because her burn passive, each tick of it will proc, and then you also want more safety later on. You get to choose if you need Zhonya's or a Banshees or something, whether it's armor or magic resist. But excited to see the route that Dig try and take. Very difficult game ahead of them versus Cloud9, who are angry.
Yeah, not happy as they come off a bit of a losing streak here. A slide at the end of the season, if you will. Pulling together a composition that can last in a fight. Also put up a good initiation and be semi-tanky with that Nautilus. So we'll see what happens once they get to level 6. Infernal's going to start, so we'll see if priority gets put onto that, as we do see a little bit of interaction between Dardoch and Blaber here to start. Licorice finds some damage, and that's just going to be a quick Q from aphromoo, and they get themselves out safe. But big roams here to really try and mess with stuff, as Johnson's top. He'll obviously go bot, but they were looking to get in the hair of Cloud9 early.
Broken Karma early. You can start out with a ultimate ability. No fair. He gets the mantra Q, just chunks on Licorice. Yeah, no follow-up there, though. Just sent a message, sent him right back to base. And it does open up a tiny window where they could try and invade and throw down some wards. They actually did not drop wards, though. So you see Blaber sweeping, looking for, okay, where's the vision that they dropped off after they were able to chase out Licorice. Bit of a bait there, as they didn't use any of them. And it's just going to be sweeper use for a little excursion and information gathering. Topside start for both junglers.
Let's see how Fenix does here. If he can get himself in and out with autos, and Clockwork Windup should be able to work his health bar away quite nicely. Nisqy rather, back and forth through the wave as they clear this out, making sure minions are hitting. So I'm excited to see how the pressure goes. Dardoch will, as you said, start top. So they may meet down bot. They may try to go for an early gank here after we see Nidalee get a red, as Blaber loves to be aggressive. We talked about that a bit in Champion Select, and I think it's such a cool attribute if Blaber is your teammate to know that this guy's always playing aggressive. You never know, he's never sitting back. You know he's going ahead, and you can push your lane and go into the jungle to be with him. It's something you can always rely on.
And one of the things that C9 did in their peak, in their greatest successes this year, in spring and even the beginning of summer, was they drafted a lot of help that they could throw to Blaber from the lanes, pushing lanes or global ultimates that they could use from their lanes to support an aggressive jungle playstyle that goes for invades. Nidalee pretty much needs to have an aggressive playstyle. This champion necessitates you invading, stealing away camps to keep the enemy jungler down, throwing spears as you're passing by other lanes to throw out pressure for your lanes. Because if you do not get that out of Nidalee's kit, then the Lillia is going to have more utility for the team, has a super long possibility of sleep and picks, and lots of AoE burn damage that you can bring later. So we're looking mainly at the Gangplank ultimate from Licorice as a possibility for him to be able to add to Blaber's aggressive style. And then Nisqy here, of course, with the range advantage over Sett, does have to worry about all-ins, but that is about it. Here's a check-in on that matchup I was talking about in Champ Select and why you're picking Gangplank into Renekton. There's the obvious, yeah, you can orange out of the stun, and you can try and deny Renekton's most feared combination, but also the aggressive early style here. Licorice forces him off the minion wave. You want to deny the Renekton, start stacking up his rage bar, which is where a lot of the combo comes from.
Quick swirl seed drive-by.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about drive-by Nidalee spear ganks, but there you go. Get a quick swirl seed.
Looks like he actually gets the top. So full clear for Dardoch here as he goes all the way through, heads towards mid for a quick gank to make sure he can get top. Figured that Blaber would start top as he saw him there earlier. He times it well so far. Also seeing him, I believe, bottom on that quick ward when he was going for blue. So a little bit of info is allowing Dardoch to circumvent where Blaber is. And this may actually be a collide right here. The lane's pushed for Fenix. Exactly. Dardoch's still not going to want the fight.
Exactly. Lillia gets the counter jungle off successfully against Blaber, actually, because of the mid lane getting pushed in here for Fenix. And the thing about Lillia, you gain so much move speed while you're doing a camp by throwing out your spells that even if you're counter jungling and Blaber shows up, you have really easy time evading the spear from Nidalee, so it's not a super high-risk invade there. Hook land.
Ooh, when you try to dodge towards the enemy, you got to do what you got to do. aphromoo is going to be able to stand there and get a good resolve. Lockdown on Zven, nicely done, and nice play by Johnsun to get himself to safety quick as well. That's the third attempt or fourth attempt C9's had on the bot lane there, once with Blaber almost on the backside. So they want a kill onto Johnsun and Afro before they get out of these lanes.
Nice little stun there from Fenix. Gets over in between the minions and gets a combo here on Nisqy, but phase rush Orianna, not too scared as they had a reset on the jungler. Early boots upgrade here. Berserker Greaves first buy for Johnsun. running quickly back to the lane, but the extra move speed obviously going to help you out in lane and trying to dodge the hooks or the snares from Senna, since it's a double snare lane, double skill shots coming out. But on top of that, Nidalee in the game and those spear ganks that we talked about going to go a long way there, as Ashe doesn't have any other means of dodging things rather than quick feet.
Yeah. Trying to move, trying to dodge. Licorice safe here with Blaber, looking for a counter gank if necessary, and he's just in and out of the jungle, really making sure that's all safe on the top side. Quick shots. Ooh, Cole used to get up above rage, so he won't be able to really heal off that as much.
Yeah, and not going to be able to catch Licorice. He does a good job using his passive. Extra move speed there, just keeps out of range of Viper. He got the damage down, he got his grass proc off. It's just Licorice kind of beating up on him. And he does have a ward here. See if they get out of it once again.
Quick orange. Slice Dice puts him perfectly in range. Cannon Barrage comes down. It's going to slow Dardoch in, and we're going to get an alcove dance. No, Licorice tries to stay within his barrels, gives the thumbs up, and he gets slept right here as they go in for this one. A nice kill from Dardoch. First blood for the Lillia.
The Lillia mechanics riff.
Oh, my
hits
word.
Him with the sleep, then the sweet spot on the Q. And then our favorite name of an ability. It's the Watch Out Eep.
Watch out, Eep. And he slots. Just slaps him down. Slots a kill in there. And he'll see what he can keep doing. Coming in with the ult real fast. And there was only so much CC Licorice could deal with, honestly.
Yeah. So Blaber, you see, just finished Krugs. He actually doesn't start heading over towards Licorice. I thought when Licorice was heading into the alcove here with his ultimate down, he was buying time for Blaber to come. But Blaber's just doing the camps. And Dardoch, he gets the full combo. You saw him set himself up with the sleep.
Watch out.
That bonk air, the Watch Out Eep, is the sweet spot damage that we're talking about, allowing him to get the full kill. Cloud9 answer with the dragon, though.
Love that you say it each time.
It's actually so ridiculous because if you think about the ability name, she's the one that would say, like, watch out when she's doing the ability. But is she also scared of it herself? Is she surprised by it? Your opponent is supposed to say,
she always feels bad about the damage she does, right?
Okay.
So she's kind of like, eep.
Little surprised by her own strength, maybe.
Yep. I think everybody is so far. Dardoch just going off, man. Against Blaber's Nidalee. No, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We're still pretty early in this one. Even game, except for that kill we saw. And actually, mid lane's panning out pretty well for Nisqy here, as Fenix has been pushing up a bit, but I think just the harass in lane coming down a little harder here from Nisqy's side on Cloud9. The back and forth and bot hasn't shown us too much, or jungler intervention. It's been pretty quiet.
Yep, just the early combat summoners blown by both sides. Those are low cooldowns, though. You see the Ignite, the Cleanse, the Heal, Exhaust all coming back up down here. And Johnsun making use of those boots, plus the speed from Karma to dodge out on constant engage attempts from Zven and Vulcan. Meanwhile, the top side been righted after that gank from Dardoch, allowed Viper to get a better reset, push out the wave. So Licorice still has his CS lead, but it allowed Viper some breathing room. And Renekton, rushing to the Tiamat, wants to get that wave control, wants to quickly be able to deal with it and try and lend some help to the rest of the team. Here we go again, bot.
Depth charge, flash out. Can they still reach him? The heal comes in from Johnsun for aphromoo, and they're going to be safe onto this one. So quickly played and quickly saved there by the side of Dignitas' C9. Pull the trigger again on the bot side. Now mid. Looking hungry here for Nisqy. Pulls the ball back for a protect, and he will be able to get himself to safety, as Blaber's just on the top side too. So if they did fight that, it would have been pretty good.
Yep, Nisqy procs his phase rush there as well. So as soon as Dardoch sees that, he's like, well, just kidding, not ganking this. Bottom side, though, I do want to give a badge of honor here to aphromoo. Well, let's see if we have a face check here first. Not going to be the case. Orianna, once again, getting out with speed. But will they sight the Herald?
Hit him. Mark. Do they go in, though? No real unsealed spellbooks here, so it's got to be Dardoch coming in for the smite grab, down to 700, 800 now as the fight continues on to Nisqy. Slept for a moment as he's now awake, and he's got 3 chasing him, but the fight has been split now, and Dignitas can't find that final target. And it looks like Rift will be grabbed by Blaber in the chaos.
Yeah, they just take it away. Cloud9 with some sleight of hand, misdirection, making him look off to the side. It does cost Nisqy his flash, but Fenix flashed to try and set it up. So now he's flashless in the mid lane, and Vulcan wants to punish.
There's a flash there. Anchor toss could close him against the wall. Still wanted it, and just a little late as he stepped back for the fadeaway hit. Ignite was there. Possibilities here for C9 to get a kill as they set up a little bit. 2 minutes to Drake, so they're not going to go for that just yet. But they did grab Infernal as we saw a bit of that top fight. So objective control for Cloud9 so far as they look to take this win here. Remember, Cloud9 and TSM playing today. The team sitting in second place, and that's very big for the playoffs, being able to have that 1 or 2 spot.
Exactly.
See what they have here on bot.
Huge implications for today's games on Friday Night League. Bottom side, I like the immediate zone off. Now, if you get the first 2 turret plates, then activate the Rift Herald as you're chunking down through the 3rd one, you can completely destroy a tower with this early Herald. There's the timing, though. They teleport into answer for Dig.
Arrow goes out. Ooh, Blaber's in a bad spot as Vulcan wants to stay to keep him alive, and he does a nice job as they flash back to 4 strong right by Tribrush. But it's going to be Fenix bringing him in with a showstopper, and the kill goes over to aphromoo. Still following in, here comes Dardoch as he's, watch out, Eep, getting in there with the blows. And he tries to take down Vulcan. A few more shots here. Phase Rush keep him in range, possibly. And he gets out the Swirl Seed to get the slow and the kill. Dardoch finds another one on Lillia.
Now he's going to take on the Grump. Blaber instead want to defend it, though. He
It's never
out of
ending.
patience.
He's a vicious doe. Look at him go. Underneath the turret, may he stop? Even damage comes in, another attack. It's going to be burning down the passive, but the heal comes through from Zven. Oh my gosh. aphromoo doesn't want this to end either. Dignitas is just looking for kills everywhere.
Yeah, even though they don't get that kill, still pressure here. Double wave stacked up by Johnsun. They melt right through the first turret plate. Dardoch is recalling, so they won't repeat dive as Cloud9 have reset, but Dignitas gets some kills on the way out as Cloud9 were trying to take down the entire bottom side turret. It is left with only 1 turret plate left standing, but that one will give the most armor, with all the other ones giving their bonuses.
Dude, I just have to say, so much credit to the design on Lillia. Going in there, like, there's chaos to her. She's doing so much, but it looks so whimsical, and it fits so well. Oh my god, I'd be pulling my hair out. It's kind of like when you get annoyed that Ivern does things times 10.
Definitely true. Let's see if he can get a steal off here. No splash for Dardoch, so he's just throwing out a little bit of burn. That would have to be a miss-smite if they take it away. Cloud9 will continue to stack up the dragons, and while Dig have a very small gold lead for themselves, Cloud9 definitely looking to get that soul for themselves. Bottom side, here's another look. Yeah, okay, so really good use of their own playstyle, trying to use it against them here for Dig, because they know they're trying to get the full turret. That will require 1 more turret plate. Fenix had a well-timed teleport into the showstopper, so they get the kill on the mid laner. And then Dardoch flashes because he knows he can get his move speed stacked up off that Q, just gets the Q as well as the W, another Q, and has another Swirl Seed to end the fight. Bowls it right down the smallest alley. I don't think there's any way Nautilus, I don't think it's possible for that big model to dodge that skill shot within the little corridor there. So Dardoch able to get a strike for himself, and this is a 2-0-1 Lillia, only character with a bounty in the game.
All right, let's see what that carry potential becomes, though, right? You get a lot of kills onto one person. Sometimes it can be to a detriment, usually. And now it's so far a bit of the carry. You have to see some turrets go down so these wards can be moved forward for Dig. But right now, Cloud9 holds all the cards and objectives. Mountain's going to start changing the map here, as that will be the soul to grab. And Blaber starts to help Licorice top for maybe a counter gank, as it's way too quiet up here for now.
Yeah, they're just going to try and get some extra push here for Licorice to be able to reset. Looks like he's got a little bit more of the Trinity Force to purchase. Wonder how far along he is. Okay, not quite there yet.
Yep.
Still has a couple more to go. Early Executioner is what's purchased by him. Maybe Dardoch also goes orb into full Morellonomicon. There is a lot of healing on the other side. Gangplank, Nidalee, and Senna. So both sides might end up with the grievous wounds for themselves as they transition into the team fights. What we're really building up to, of course, is going to be the Mountain Soul fight. Even the third dragon fight here, with the Mountain Dragon coming up in a little bit over 2.5 minutes, is going to be a big turning point for Dig, because they actually have the gold to try and fight this. The question will be, will they get the setup? You know, all these solo laners hitting level 11 for rank 2 in their ultimates, and Cloud9 looking like they want to get bottom side down before that fight, so they have more area to work with.
They actually have eyes on Nisqy right now. They can't do anything about this bot turret, but Fenix will have the upper hand on mid lane as he might be able to get some damage in. Dardoch stays back, though, to make sure there's no gank. So they're kind of helping each other out in mid, letting C9 do whatever they want bot. And I think you're right about these fights. Is once they come down to the soul fight, I think Cloud9 may have that upper hand, right? You dodge an arrow if Fenix can't get a good teleport in. Those are the initiations. And it may be a swirl seed. Don't underestimate the swirl seed, all right? We've already seen it. But yeah, I think C9 has a little bit more to retaliate with and even try to initiate with once it comes time. So Dig, doing well. I think they're going to have their work cut out for them here, but this is a great start for them. And C9 with that slide, maybe it's still affecting a bit of their early game here. Is Licorice going to get caught? Maybe another tag on for Dig is swirl seed just wide.
Gonna eat an orange and everything is fine. Gets to eat up the entire wave here. 1.5 minutes left on that dragon fight we're trying to build up to, but Rift Herald will be the site of the next one first. Honestly, for Cloud9, I say give that up and just continue pushing. Zven on the bottom side with the Senna doesn't push super quickly, but you can get another wave into the bottom tower, and Blaber is currently counter-jungling red quadrant of Dignitas jungle as well. So I'd say, yeah, just give that up, keep on pushing, and then transition your vision control over to this dragon setup, because that is your win condition. That should be your focus. Don't get distracted by Dig making a power move on the top side. With that Rift Herald, though, doesn't look like Dig want to stop pushing anytime soon.
Full power top. They had a few good wards bot side that might be a good teleporter. They're fading out, though, as they start to use them towards top. C9 is going to try to put 3 strong here as Johnsun may have the shots to take this one down, but not enough protection. Just a bit afraid until that next wave, and the cannon wave comes in. They're going to finalize a second-tier turret. Dig is moving across the map so quick here, and it's going to be 19 seconds on Drake. C9 has been able to set up for this, so let's see how Dig reacts after taking the map.
And they do have the Ashe arrow ready for Dig as well, with Johnsun moving down through the jungle, and a possible flank position you see on the map right now for Viper.
It's what they need.
They're going to call for a teleport back in from Nisqy, possibly Licorice as well, as the dragon is up.
Cannon Barrage is there, so the teleport along with Gangplank's ultimate will be coming in. They see Viper. Dominus is on, and he's going right into the fight. They get Vulcan immediately. Damage is onto the big guy, but it's not going to be enough. C9 may have a chance to turn here, and there's the damage onto aphromoo. Fenix goes in once again with Showstopper, and C9 comes out swinging even harder. Cloud9 gains control of the Drake area, but this fight may not be over, as there may be a few abilities thrown in. Now Dig's going to walk off. They're going to try to get lane control as Cloud9 holds strong.
Yep, C9 kite them back into the small area leading up into the jungle, and dragon number 3 goes over Riv. Dig only have one more attempt to deny the soul. This is going to be huge for Cloud9 in trying to keep the pace of this game. They also feel pretty good about the pace that Licorice is actually scaling at right now. So they've got a couple other outs.
You know, Kobe, fights like that, sometimes I like to think, like, what was banned against X person that tried to make a hard initiation? Imagine that being an Emperor's Divide that Fenix got in on, shoving them all back right into the middle of the river, right? So, second phase ban from C9 here. Positioning in their fights paying off, making sure they can come back on what was a 3-kill lead. Now, 4-1 as C9 did get a chance to get some gold in their pocket. And we'll see how these play out now, as that is 3 Drakes for C9, Mountain in 4.
Yeah, one of the problems that Dig are going to run into is, like we just saw in this team fight here, they have 3 very low-range champions with the Lillia, the Sett, as well as a Renekton. So you have to get a good flank off, and they did here. But then with the collapse, you see them get a big shield, buying a lot of time on Vulcan, then the stopwatch as well. in that time, Haymaker was blown by Fenix, so he has no more durability, and the Shockwave was able to land as well for Cloud9. So the stopwatch there from Vulcan, buying a lot of time, buying some setup for the team, and allowing them to trade enemy mid laner for support means that you're going to have supreme control over the Dragon area, over Summoner's Rift after that. And a worthy sacrifice there by the Cloud9 support, and a very valuable stopwatch purchase.
He lasted so long, and he kind of waited on those skills too, right? Knowing there were a few to come over, so everybody wanted to get that last hit in and not onto somebody else onto Cloud9. Well played. Athene's there, a little bit of healing for aphromoo on Dignitas' side to offer a few of his teammates, but not nearly as much as what Cloud9 is packing. And we saw how quickly they recharged back up after that fight to take Drake. Just passing 20 minutes now, Baron is on the Rift. And we're 3 away from that Drake. Vision's not really pushed forward too far. It seems like everybody's just resetting on these waves until they can get back into position. The teleports are coming up on the side of C9. So they're just hanging back and getting these cleared out.
Yeah, Dig are starting to panic now because they don't scale damage very well at all. They've got, as we said, mostly low-range champions. Ashe is not one of the bigger damage output like hyper carry style AD carries, and is easily punished by things like Gangplank ultimate and Nautilus ultimate chaining on Ashe. You can't really do much with the point and click and then the global to follow up. So it becomes hard for Dig to fight as the game goes on here, especially if Licorice continues to farm so well. The barrel chains do a lot versus the lower range champions here. Fight over Crab, though, might be interesting. Maybe we get the smite fight. Blaber's still sticking around. Ooh. I believe Dardoch got it. Cha-ching!
Yeah, feels good about that. Never want to lose the first fight. But the war has yet to be won here. Here comes Drake in a minute and a half, and they're really giving a lot for this. Both mid-turrets stand, so teams are happy to kind of sit in this position, and Lillia can't take that much. It's going to be stopwatch going down. Dardoch now stands in the middle of 4 members as he tries to get the movement speed. He does get out. aphromoo finds him. He's pulled back in by the Shockwave, and the rest of the team of Dignitas is now in and swinging. Cloud9 pushed out for a moment as they did not want to fight with Dig as the ult came in fast. And now they return to the fight to try and get the damage back in. Nisqy went down, but it's 2 on the side of Dig here that have fallen, which gives Cloud9 mid. And these fights are really back and forth, but Cloud9 is absorbing so well.
Yeah, not done yet.
Blaber? Oh, Blaber gets a little greedy there. Stays on the front as he gets caught up in crowd control. And now C9's getting pushed out. Licorice tries to step back forward to get a barrel shot on. That's going to be the Rangers' focus coming in for the double kill on Johnsun's Ashe. And now Zven, one last shot. Nobody can make it count as they have to back off, getting a few more kills and actually putting that fight in their favor.
Oh, baby, Digger keeping it interesting, Riv.
Oh.
They may feel the pressure of this dragon coming up in 40 seconds, but getting those 2 extra kills on the way out, on the defense of this mid turret, setting up for it, is going to give them a timing window. Only 30 seconds here. They can have the advantage getting there first, laying down their control awards, and trying to force Cloud9 to face check into them, rather than having to face check into Senna, Nautilus hooks coming out, and Gangplank barrel chains from the Fog of War. It's just so much more valuable here now for Dig with those extra kills they got off the mid defense to be able to set up and try and force Cloud9 to face check.
Setting up once again.
Ashe already.
Soul fight. Dardoch taking a bit of chip damage before this one. Oh, another one. Hits him down to about 1,000 HP as he starts getting healed up. aphromoo Athene is now released of its charge. They'll look to build up a bit more damage as he steps forward with some Qs and inner flames. They find Viper on the backside. Arrow comes through. A nice face breaker coming in from Fenix. Can they get this fight in their favor as Dignitas starts punching hard onto Vulcan? Fenix does finally swing true onto that one. And Cloud9 again tries to absorb the rest of the fight, and they'll look to turn. Shockwave's already been used in most of the ultimates on that side of Cloud9, as it's just Blaber shape-shifting in this. Another face breaker from Fenix. And he is the one to get the initiations. We said it would be so hard for Dig, but they're able to step to the plate and continue to pull Cloud9 in, and they're able to stop Cloud9 from getting Soul.
Yeah, no fear there for Fenix. Flashes in, gets this done for themselves, and trading another 1-for-1, but critically denying that dragon. Dignitas, they're here to fight, Riv. They're trying to take the tower on the way out as well, but with the extra Karma move speed, they should be able to kite away from Licorice collapsing.
I love that Fenix is fearless, and he plays a lot of champions that play like that, have to go in. You know, you're a bit squishy on Azir, and he still does it. Here, he has made
full tank Sett, baby.
Full tank Sett,
easier.
and he is more than happy to be in the middle all the time.
Yeah, feels you're way more confident, right? Going for those plays on full tank Sett. You're like, okay, now this is what it's like, making the big flash plays, big setups into the team. And that's one of the reasons that mid Sett has risen to prominence. Let's take another look here, because this is a pretty good setup. Now, Cloud9 were making their power play to get that vision like we talked about, trying to get inside, but because Dig had the earlier setup, Viper had the exact same flank that he did last time at the Dragon fight. He collapses on Blaber as well as Vulcan, and then Fenix ults them away from the rest of Cloud9 to buy some space for themselves as the rest of Dig kite around the Gangplank ultimate, and then they're able to re-engage because they force down on this Dragon, and Cloud9 trying to poke around to threaten a steal here. It would be a very high value steal, but it's very risky. Fenix punishes them for it. Runs right into Zven. They get the lockdown, and even though Viper goes down on the way out, that created range for them to be able to finish off the Dragon, deny that soul, and they've got 3 more minutes on the clock till we do it all again.
Really awesome to see those opportunities Fenix is trying to create, working out as well. Sometimes he'll miss just by a bit, not hit as many on a showstopper. The face breaker will just be short, and it kind of looks like what were you doing? But those are the plays he's on the edge of making, and this time we're seeing the impact that they're having when he finds the result. Pushing bot here as Dig feels comfortable to start spreading their numbers. A bit of a 1-3-1, but they don't want to leave anybody out to dry just yet, because they know C9 will initiate immediately on a skirmish that they find.
Yeah, I mean, I bet all the TSM fans are starting to cheer for Dig right now, because
that's
like,
a good point.
If you deliver C9 a loss, that makes TSM's job of getting a bye in playoffs way easier, because Cloud9 are not expected to lose either of their games this weekend.
Right, they face CLG after this.
And Dig here definitely doing a good job setting up and fighting in this one. Let's see. So, checking back in on the Lillia, Banshee's Veil completed for Dardoch for the extra spell shield. I guess we did see him get hooked in with the Nautilus last time, and it'd be fairly problematic. So he kind of wants to deny that.
Yep. Hopefully dodge a spear out.
Yeah. As we see the setup, though, I also want to say Johnsun's had very good positioning. He has not been the victim of the Nautilus, Orianna, Gangplank, ultimate trifecta kind of combination. That's very scary to deal with as an Ashe player. And now both his summoners are up. So Dig are even more confident in fighting these fights and kiting around a lot of these big AoE abilities and the point-and-click CC. I would still say Cloud9 feel pretty good about their scaling, about their damage output as the game goes on.
A big damage build from Nisqy as well. He does have the Merc Treads for what was happening across the map, and once he start getting hit by Dardoch, needed to avoid that. But he will be hitting some big shockwaves later. Viper picking up that Death's Dance so he can get in there even more with Fenix now and just act like a tank if he wants to. Dominus on, and he'll be tough to take down. Dardoch's Banshee's Veil helping him out a bit here to draw javelins from Blaber, as it looks like it might be a little bit of a mid back and forth. 48 seconds for the Drake, and they'll see what summoners or ults they can pull out of each other before that happens.
And again, look at the minimap. 2 times in a row, Vipers had the flank of Renekton down on the bottom side of the river. He's there once again. They have control wards there. Cloud9 wisely pushing in mid-wave first. Licorice does find Viper this time around. He's like, 3rd time, okay, you're going to flank me from the bottom side of the river.
Yep.
We see ya, and they chase off, also killing one of the control wards.
I love that he just ran in there, too. It was like, you see 3-4 members, this area is safe no matter what. Still, he's going to stay there, Kobe. His lane's pushed. If it does come out, he clears it. If not, he stays, and maybe he has to use, what does he have? He has a regular ward actually on cooldown, so he's already used that. Just waiting for somebody to walk past this shrine, though. And he'll know. They're looking for him, though.
Have you ever heard the song? Oh, never mind. Licorice knows. He's like, all right, we're just going to keep checking down here. I see no reason for you to change your play style. Ooh, deep teleport. That means they have to run.
Coming back around. Here comes Fenix. Eyes on him. Viper's trying to meet at the same time. They see Viper's Dominus. Come on. Fenix gets in. He gets rooted immediately and can't find a target. Vulcan's taking a lot of damage. He's going to go down immediately, though, in the fight. And it was Nisqy that had to get out. He was the target the whole time there. Fenix did not want anybody else, and he knew it. Nisqy had to run.
Yes, another superb flank here from Dig. This time Fenix teleporting deep into the jungle. Cloud9 have not been able to clear out all of these wards, and another mountain in threat of being denied.
Nisqy coming in. Shockwave is not going to be there, but he is full bar, and he can get some utility out for the team. Dignitas is decently low on health bars, but they're still looking for the kills. Blaber, one more shot from going down. Fenix in the fight by himself in a 3v1 now as he turns around for the Haymaker shield. Looking for the Zhonya's. Can he keep himself alive? It's going to be a quick kill. No, the shield is there, and he's healing up from that Sett passive. They're moving out. They're trying to run for the hills as Cloud9 is just going to go rinse and repeat on this fight, but the wave is not there to push.
They can't kill off
my word.
anyone, Riv. Cloud9 get no counter kill. They were so hungry to grab at least one there to try and set themselves up for a response Baron, but Dig just kite them out once again. Fenix living with the extra regeneration. Stopwatch used on Sett, and he has been so annoying for Cloud9 to try and deal with, just completely collapsing their team fight. And that teleport, man, to set it all up. Thought it was going to fall apart when he got snared up and tried to flash in, but they got so much damage down onto Vulcan, and they split Cloud9 apart once again. Popped him like a melon.
The distraction squad. I mean, Viper and Fenix are going so hard, you have to worry about them. And then Johnsun has Rangers focus the next time you look at him, and he's shredding people down. They're just causing so much chaos in the fight as they run in.
Exactly, and through the chaos, Cloud9 are having so much difficulty taking down Johnsun. I really think this guy has been performing so well for Dig. You know, throughout the split, I mean, singing the praises of the bottom lane for Dig, even when they were losing. aphromoo and Johnsun performing super well. Viper now is on the run in the 2v1 though. Alcove Gaming begin.
The team is deciding whether to come down or not. Looks like they've chosen to slice and dice the way to safety, and he can't get a heal back up as he does a good bit of damage. C9 stops Dignitas from being able to help bot, and this now is C9's chance to figure out where wards are, where Dig is, and take out some of the map in their favor. Dignitas has had a pretty good hold here. C9 has been biding their time, and now this is the window they've been looking for. 32.5 minutes in. Possible damage on this mid turret. Dig stands tall. It's going to be 2.5 minutes to Drake once again, and it looks like that's what we'll be waiting for.
Dig are just playing the ranges of their champions so well, with Fenix, Dardoch threatening so often on the all-ins, making it hard for Cloud9 to commit. And Johnsun using his summoners very well on Ashe to have a zero-death Ashe still. They're able to push back. They finally get the last outer tower, and Dignitas have come to play, Riv. They, too, are fighting for a playoff spot. Currently, it's not in their control. If CLG win both of their games, then Dig and Immortals would go out. But if Dig win both theirs and CLG drops one, you know, then they're in there. So all you can do is try and win all of your games and hope that the extra RNG will go in your favor.
For sure, yeah. Counter Logic at 5 and 11. Immortals and Dig 4 and 12. So can definitely be a mix-up there if the win-loss happens in a team's favor. Blaber clearing around the Dragon, ready for that Soul Drake or possibility of if Dignitas does not get back in. How do you, it's almost like you have to ward for a Nocturne. How do you make sure you're clearing all the wards all around you right now? It's getting difficult, but C9's going to try.
Yep, Cloud9 trying to pick up the extra sweeper. Let's see, control wards in everybody except for Zven's inventory. And the death cap now being completed on level 18 Orianna. So Nisqy, if he can land his shockwave, it will have a tremendous impact. Look at the flash cooldown of Johnsun. That should be the most important flash timer Cloud9 are tracking right now. They want a point-and-click Vulcan ultimate onto Johnsun, and then it sets you up for an easy shockwave to land, because Cloud9, without that, they don't have a great ball delivery system. You know, nobody's really charging head first in very quickly. It's either, you know, put it on Vulcan or a very risky Blaber dive. Other than that, though, that's what they're trying to use. Point and click, Nautilus ultimate started up here. Dig, draw them into the river.
Fenix looking for the hook around already in the mid lane. He comes up with maybe a minion wave. Oh, he almost closed off the C9 team there. Do they want this? Nisqy's stunned for just a moment, but gets out of that alive. And now Fenix looking pretty tough in the mid for him as he gets thrown up, thrown down. aphromoo very low as he gets a shield onto himself and the full team. Shockwave pulls Dardoch in, and Dignitas is dwindling. In this one, Cloud9 is just able to dance all the damage that Dig was delivering. And now they have full control of the map.
Yeah, key this time around. Vulcan gets his ult off onto Johnsun, and Licorice then Gangplank ults on Johnsun as well. So while they don't kill the Ashe, they have him stunned and then slowed on the outside of the fight. That's why their damage for Dig isn't enough to take down any C9 members. And Cloud9, they win the fight, and they will finally get their Mountain Soul they've been waiting for the entire game. Better late than never, Riv.
I feel like Dig knows a kind of a timer has been put on this one now. If it hadn't started before, Hawkshot goes back. And C9 breathing that sigh of relief, saying, okay, you know, they knew they always had the chance, but the reassurance is solidified now with that, the soul, and now pushing these minion waves back out. We'll see, I think, a bit more confidence from C9 and pushing Dig around.
Yeah, definitely have to focus on their skill shots once again. You saw in the last time, Vulcan gets the hook in, then they immediately get the snare from Zven. Those are the things that you have to land to be able to get that safer damage. Barrel chains and spears are way easier to land if you're able to hit that crowd control first. And that is going to be key for Cloud9 moving forward. Now with Mountain Soul, though, they have a lot more safety to work with. Everybody getting the bigger shield here. And they're trying to transition their vision over to the Baron area. Again, you mentioned it multiple times. You better be doing your chores, cleaning out those wards. Because if you get teleport flanked on one more time and Fenix gets a good ultimate, that can still bring your team fight crashing down, big shield or not.
We have to consider how kind of amazing it is that they pulled those off so clean as well. Once they got into the fight, the chaos that they were able to create, usually you get a few teleports off or a teleport reaction to a fight, but setting up C9 and 2 full TP pincers, really impressive from Dignitas here. If they can do it again, it'll be more impressive since C9 knows to close that window. Licorice, we see him roaming the fog of war around the fight every time to make sure nobody's coming in that C9 doesn't know about. Here now they take control of the top of the map, one of their final outer turrets to work with that Dignitas still has standing.
Okay, Licorice could be able to get that one chunked right down with his Demolish. He's also building towards Leandries. I know LS specifically talks a lot about that on Gangplank with your ultimate and, of course, the damage passive amp. But here's the teleport flank. Fenix going hard.
He's going to be onto Zven, maybe. Nope. Grabs mid lane up. Nisqy's going to go right into Zanyas as he hits the ground, and now they have to assess who they can take down. Nisqy's drowsy, slept. Now Shockwave comes through to help him during that time as Blaber tries to initiate with a pounce in. Dignitas now. Not as much healing as Cloud9 is able to deliver the fight with Zven on the backline, firing across the team. Blaber's heals coming through. And a bit more here from Licorice on himself.
Dig's damage doesn't scale as well, and they can't get through the mountain shield here. So C9, extra shields come through. Zven ultimate as well as the heals. They keep Nisqy alive, and they're starting up the Baron.
Dardoch over the wall. Pink ward goes in. Now they fight onto Fenix as he tries to be the frontline tank that Dig needs right now. Johnsun into the fight, flashes over the wall, takes down Licorice. Immediately, that's going to change the fight. C9 have to rethink this one. Do they want to go immediately on someone they can skirmish? Dignitas is going to have a chance to kind of regroup here. Dardoch may want the fight. Swirl Seed hits onto Nisqy. That's going to be a drowsy as he pops down the hit, and he comes in with the ult. He goes Eep onto Nisqy. Is he going to be able to get the kill? Dardoch may not be able to finish him, and Nisqy just 1v1s Dardoch on the sleep initiation. Zven trying to peel out here as Dig is still finding a few for themselves as Blaber goes down. But a fight on all fronts is not telling us much. It's a back and forth.
Dig, do it again, and Johnsun, oh my god, NA talent, Riv, straight out of North American solo queue. Johnsun gets the kill for them, takes down Licorice, they're burning down the Baron. Zven and Nisqy arrive to try and contest.
He's got just a little bit of a cooldown on that Shockwave. Keep the ball in a place they don't see it. He could have a huge impact play. Shockwave is up in 4, 3, 2. No, the Baron's already taken. Can he push it forward for a kill? He's not going to use it just for Fenix. And unfortunately, Dignitas spreads. Yes, he will. they're kind of reconsidering the play here. Fenix with another shield coming out. They're going to try to run. He says, don't bring him to me. Johnsun's got to run now. Licorice teleports in. It's never ending, Kobe. Fenix trying to do what he can versus 3, and he seems unkillable, but that's just not true. He goes down. Dig loses 3, and Cloud9 once again on a rampage.
Report Fenix. He got Johnsun killed. He ran into Johnson's bush there as the Baron empowered recall for Johnsun was about to complete. Fenix, what? Just take your death, okay? Cloud9, they get the triple kill. They have the Mountain Soul Rift. They're going to try and end it off of that. The death timers are so long.
Looking to move themselves up to have sole position of second place here towards the end of the season. We'll find out if that's true with the result of next game, but Dig does not want it to be over. Knocked up and popped up as they get knocked down. That's the Bud Light ace coming in for Cloud9 as they'll have the Nexus turrets in their eyes. Once they get minions, I think they'll use Vulcan.
Oh my, don't take anything for granted, Riv.
Never.
Oh my God, Cloud9 had to work for this win so hard.
Absolutely did. They come out strong. They persevere. Now 12-5, taking sole possession of second. Till next game, we'll see.
That was way more fun than I thought we were going to get. What a game to start off Friday Night League. What a game to start out the last week of the regular season. Week 9 here. Man, Cloud9 going the distance with Dignitas. So many of those team fights. Good flanks from Fenix. I have to say, Johnsun as the main DPS, just pulling a lot of work for them in those fights.
Everything was so well orchestrated. It seemed to be a little bit looser. You know, not lax, but looser. They were having fun. They were playing off the Lillia strength. Dardoch seemed to be enjoying himself. And Cloud9 was able to just find their footing in the middle of the game, which is something we also don't expect to see from them. They have usually had control from the beginning, so we'll have to see how they do going into playoffs. On the other side of the break now, we will hear from Nisqy in our Verizon post-game interview. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Friday Night League and the Verizon post-game interview. I'm Dash here on Friday night to celebrate a C9 victory with Nisqy here. Nisqy, how you doing, my man? Because 3-5 now on the back half. Got it done here, but these wins, they're not coming easy for Cloud9 or as easily as we would expect for a lot of people. So talk me through that. How you guys dealing with that?
I mean, right now as a team, we all know that we're not as good as before, and it's either like we don't necessarily know what like are the main issues, but we all know that we need to focus on like knowing what the best draft for us is, what like gameplay we want to play with our champions, and just figuring out what's the best for us. And I feel like we're working on it a lot during the week, but it's still showing that we still have a lot to work on, and we're getting there slowly. But yeah, right now we're not that good still.
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that the team's been very vocal about the experimentation you guys have intended to do, and that you were kind of afforded that advantage of having such a great start that you could, experiment throughout the middle of the split. But how do you balance then the expectation and the pressure to perform as, the defending champions from spring, along with that, experimentation where you still want to improve and ultimately get better?
I mean, I'd say in the beginning of the split, we were really good, and we all agreed that we should experiment and try new stuff, try new champions, random champions, because we thought that playing casually against other teams, we weren't getting as much as if we were trying to play new playstyles. So we kind of played new champions, for example, Senna Lux, and just casual like control mages mid, stuff like that. And I think it showed that we're kind of worse on these champions than we are on like the classic champions, I guess. But after, I think 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, where we started losing, we're like, okay, we need to actually figure out what's actually good in the meta rather than trying out random like picks and stuff. So we stopped kind of experimenting, and right now we focus 100% on being good as a team, first of all, and then figuring out what champions are good for us as a team.
All right, so we're dialing back in, looking towards the postseason. Let's refocus our conversation towards that as well. Both you and TSM here are in control of your own destiny when it comes to that second place bye. If they win out as well as you, it would force a tiebreaker between the two of you for that second seed at the end of the split. So how are you feeling about a possible rematch there, just assuming that it were to occur?
I think a rematch would be really good for us, because I think last game we played against TSM, we played pretty bad, in my opinion. We got a draft that we didn't really discuss or want from the beginning, even though we talked about it in the meetings, and just our gameplay was not the best, in my opinion. So I think if we rematch against TSM, we'll give our best and we will try to win, I guess. And I think if we win against them, then it gives us like a good mental boost, in my opinion. So yeah, I'd want a rematch for sure.
Now, you talk about, being a little shaky more recently, especially when it comes to the mental. When you think ahead towards playoffs, though, playoffs is a totally different animal. Number one, we're going to have double elim for those of you on the top half of the bracket, but also we move into best of fives. And so how much do you really read in, or rather, how much would you say to C9 fans sitting at home should they read into these best of one losses? Is C9 still going to come through and crush everyone in playoffs?
I mean, I'd like to say that, but I feel like right now I'm the first one that think that we're not the best team right now, at least. We still have to work a lot, as I said before, but I feel like if we all still work this hard as we did this week, in my opinion, in the next 2 weeks, we should be a top team again. And I hope we can accomplish that with our teammates. I mean, with my teammates.
There's been a lot of focus this split on you and Blaber specifically as the jungle mid duo, and even have been the point of criticism then in some of these losses that, hey, we're just not seeing that dynamic duo completely take over games. Is that something you feel is a necessary formula for Cloud9 to win, or do you think that you guys have other ways of winning and that it doesn't always have to be you and Blaber?
I think we have a lot of ways of winning games right now. I mean, I'd say that in spring, for example, it was mostly me and Blaber kind of surfing around the map and playing with our ball lane. But I feel like this split, the meta shifted away from bot lane a bit, where it's like more control mages in the mid lane and kind of scaling. So the combos that I have with Blaber are not necessarily to like punish the enemies. It's mostly if I can scale, then it's really good for me, and if he can farm as well, it's really good. So I think I'd say if there were champions that would crush early game, would be still insanely good, me and Blaber, but I feel like right now the meta doesn't really allow that. So we kind of shifted towards another playstyle where we kind of have to scale, because that's how you have to play League right now. So
hence the Orianna and the GP picks coming in today. I have one more question for you real fast, and it's on behalf of Prolly. Prolly wants to know why GP beat you to a Leandry's buy in this game. Why weren't you the first one to a Leandry's, my friend?
I don't know.
That's it. That's all I need then. Nisqy, thank you so much for the interview. Congrats on the victory today. With that, we're going to step away, but the battle between TSM and Golden Guardians is just around the corner. Stay tuned. Thanks again, dude.
Thank you.
Many of us are working from home and adjusting to new coworkers. Coworkers who borrow supplies and always interrupt meetings. A gift can help. And when you use your MasterCard, you have security benefits that keep you protected, so your purchase ends up in the right hands or mouth. And your staff can start something priceless.
Welcome to Assist of the Day, presented by State Farm. This fight could have many shout-outs for a great assist, but it has to go to Hanser for hunting down the opening to end this fight.
Golden Guardians are on the hunt to push CLG away. A flash forward, Cannon's in, there's a stun on one, a root on the other, and it's 3 unanswered kills for Golden Guardians, a blue buff for them, and it's time for an easy Ocean Drake.